There's no such thing as a pitching prospect, but let's rank them anyway. Up next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5 on Monday, December 30th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White. Want to wish everybody a happy and healthy new year. Let's count down Scott's top 5 pitching prospects entering next season, and we will start with number 5, Bubba Chandler of the Pirates, 22 years old, third-round pick in 2021. Incredible athlete, actually started as a two-way player in the minors, but Scott, he has continued to develop as a pitcher and could be in the running for a rotation spot on opening day.
Yeah, the projection really paid off the last couple years. Huge strides for Bubba Chandler, particularly with regard to control. And this past year, it wasn't even an issue for him anymore. He was working deep into games, and he has the electric arsenal, killer changeup, high 90s fastball. It gives the Pirates another potential ace. And I think in the long run, he's going to slot in between Paul Skeens and Jared Jones in that rotation. That's kind of where I'd put Bubba Chandler's upside. Of course, all three of those pitchers have great upside.
Your number 4 pitching prospect is Noah Schultz from the White Sox, 21 years old, a first-round pick back in 2022 out of high school. Massive lefty, 6'9". He throws from a low three-quarters arm slot. The physicality, the delivery has drawn some comparisons to Randy Johnson. I know you've brought up Chris Sale, Scott. All kind of lofty, unrealistic projections, but there is just massive upside for this gentleman.
I mean, I kind of feel like there will never be another Randy Johnson, so I prefer the Chris Sale comparison, even though that feels kind of too easy because, of course, it's another White Sox prospect here, Noah Schultz, and Chris Sale obviously came up with the White Sox, but it is that profile again. 6'9", so he's a few inches taller than Sale, but the tall, lanky left-hander with that low three-quarters delivery, like you said, almost sidearm delivery, that even if your stuff is just marginal, it's going to play up because of the movement you put on the fastball. And Noah Schultz stuff isn't marginal. He can crank up the fastball. He's got a great slider. And the numbers in the minors have been as awesome as you'd expect it to be. The only thing for Noah Schultz is he hasn't really built up to a starter's workload yet. A lot of 3-4 inning outings. It's not that he's been unable to stay healthy. It's just that he's so young. We haven't seen him take on that big workload yet. But given his size, again, 6'9", I don't anticipate it being a problem.
Your number 3 pitching prospect is Jackson Jobe from the Tigers. He's 22 years old, might have the best combination of stuff and command of all pitching prospects. He has dominated every step of the way. He actually got called up late in the season, pitched out of the bullpen. And another name, Scott, where I think could be in the running for a rotation spot on opening day.
Yeah, some might be surprised to see me have him as low as 3rd. And, of course, earns high marks for the very high spin rates on all of his pitches. They have great characteristics, but took a step back with the numbers this year to Jackson Jobe. Between his 3 levels of the minors, 4.4 walks per 9 and 9.4 strikeouts per 9. You'd expect both of those numbers to be better given Jobe's prospect stature, given the fact that he was called up this year. I don't want to make a huge deal of it because projection over production, but I'm going to make at least as big of a deal of it to drop him to 3rd in my rankings.
All right, your number 2 pitching prospect is Andrew Painter from the Phillies. If you remember, a couple of years ago, was battling for a rotation spot as a 19-year-old, then had Tommy John surgery. He's working his way back. He pitched out in the Arizona Fall League, and Scott, from everything we've heard, the velocity was back, the strikeouts were there, and he looks like the Andrew Painter of old.
Yeah, for the most part, the movement was a little off on the pitches, but he dominated in spite of that. 2.30 ERA, 0.89 WHIP, 10.3 K per 9 across those 6 starts. I think we'll see him close the gap as he makes more starts. He's like 90% of the way back. I expect he'll get pretty close to 100% of the way back. And because he's already shown now with those 6 Arizona Fall League starts that the Tommy John surgery isn't going to be a major impediment to him realizing his potential, I'm inclined to rank Andrew Painter as if That Tommy John surgery never happened. And you'll remember before the Tommy John surgery, he was about to make the Phillies rotation as a 19-year-old. And for good reason, because his first full professional season, 2022, where he reached Double-A by the end of it, Andrew Painter had a 156 ERA, 0.89 whip, 13.45 K per nine. Excellent characteristics on his pitches. Excellent control, especially for standing 6'7". I think if that Tommy John surgery hadn't happened, Andrew Painter would already be an ace and deserves more hype than he's getting, frankly.
Your number one pitching prospect is Roki Sasaki, who is coming over from Japan, likely to sign in mid-January. We don't know which team he'll be with yet. We've heard the Dodgers. We've heard the Padres. His agent said maybe a mid-market team as a softer landing spot for Roki Sasaki. But Scott, at his best, throws over 100 miles per hour, nasty splitter, huge strikeout numbers. The problem for redraft leagues is he's already kind of being treated like that. The early ADP is 75.7.
Right. I think that's too high from a redraft perspective. Huge upside here for Roki Sasaki. That's why I rank him number one among pitching prospects. But I think we should treat him more like a pitching prospect than the finished product that Yoshinobu Yamamoto was coming from Japan last year. And he's only 23 is Sasaki. So that's fair, I think. If we're just looking at him on the level of a prospect, what we see is a fastball that's been clocked as high as 100 miles per hour in the past. Maybe he doesn't have the elite movement profile, but it's not his most important pitch. He's got a splitter that is best in its class. In fact, Baseball America has given the splitter an 80 grade for Roki Sasaki. And that's going to be enough to carry him no matter how the fastball plays. So very bright future for him, but I want to draft him as high as he's going in redraft leagues.
All right, for more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. We will be back again next year on Thursday. Bye-bye.